Some rumors came out yesterday connecting you to the USC job. I just want to give you the opportunity to refute it.
Yeah, there's no chance that I'm here and committed to try to build an organization.
Okay.
Unfortunately for you, some rumors came out yesterday connecting you to the USC job. I just wanted to give you a chance to refute it. I'm assuming that question was not asked by a member of the Jaguars PR staff. It sure as hell sounded like it, Myles. And look, this comes after I wrote last night about the NFL changing the rule that mandates conference calls with coaches and the reporters that cover the opponent that week. And one of my points is sometimes if you're not beholden to the team, if you're not part of the press corps, you're more inclined to ask a tough question. And one of the people in the Jaguars press corps gave me attitude on Twitter. Oh, I've never seen anyone afraid to ask a. Well, what was that? What was that? Unfortunately for you, I want to give you a chance to refute it. Are you kidding me? And even then, his answer wasn't all that convincing.
Well, he said no chance, right? I mean, I don't know.
He said no chance. No chance. No.
Look, it's September 15th, and they just lost
What's
their
my
first
agent's
game.
number? Agent
Right?
Call USC. No chance.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah, go ahead.
Look, there's no chance today. It's September 15th, 2021, and he just coached his first game with the Jacksonville Jaguars. If it's the same thing, it may or may not be the same thing in December when they're 2-10, 2-11. Trevor Lawrence hasn't looked all that great all year. And then you're thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, what in the world have I gotten myself into? Maybe I could go back to college and do the thing that I'm familiar with. And frankly, no matter what job it is, if there's a college football job that's open and it's perceived to be one of the better jobs in the country, then Urban Meyer's name is going to be linked to it because it's going to be like, oh, is this the year that he goes back to college? Because he's won 3 national championships. He's won SEC titles. He's won Big Ten titles. He's obviously one of the best head coaches at the collegiate level of all time. So no matter, if he's really, really good in the NFL or if he's really, really bad in the NFL, it's almost kind of like what Jim Harbaugh was doing in San Francisco. There were still going to be these rumors about him potentially leaving. And eventually he did leave and he went to Michigan because that thing was just never going to work anymore in San Francisco. So look, I just feel like, you can take him at his word today because it's probably true today. But things could absolutely change over the course of the next few months as USC does what they're going to do in their coaching search. And we see whatever happens with Urban Meyer in his first year with the Jaguars.
Maybe what he meant to say, Myles, was there's no chance because they saw what we did on Sunday against Houston just like everyone else did. That's why there's no chance. And that's the other side of it. Would USC want him at this point? That's the point Sims made. Why would USC want Urban Meyer right now? Why do you swoop in and grab a guy who, with every game he coaches at the NFL level, undermines his accomplishments at the college level, setting aside the kind of strange circumstances where he left Florida, the strange circumstances where he left Columbus? Guy's a great coach, puts together a great program. There's no denying that. He'd been linked to USC on the rumor mill before he decided to coach Jacksonville. And the other side of this, too, it's not a one-way street. It's not just Bobby Petrino deciding to get out. It's potentially the Jaguars deciding to do what the Browns decided to do with Freddie Kitchens. The best thing you can do if you recognize that you made a mistake is to undo the mistake ASAP. So even if Urban doesn't want to leave, there is a chance that Shad Khan, at some point in November, if they don't win a game, Week 12 is going to be the first game that they're not the underdog in, and they may be the underdog by Week 12. They're closing in on becoming the third team to lose 20 consecutive games in league history. And if they lose all the way until Week 12, the game against Atlanta, they will be tied with the Buccaneers with 26-game losing streaks. That's not good for anybody. Even though 15 of those games aren't on Urban Meyer, he knew what he was getting himself into when he took that job. He knew he was inheriting a 15-game losing streak, which is now 16, and is going to be 17 most likely come Sunday. And watch, we're saying all this, and they'll probably beat the Broncos 32-3. But Yeah, I agree with you completely. Right now, you can say no chance, and it's not like it's binding. What are they going to do to him? Are they going to put him in jail if he ultimately takes the USC job? I mean, Nick Saban lied to our faces and took the Alabama job within 2 weeks after lying to our faces. So the question needed to be asked, as gingerly as it possibly could be. The answer was given. We checked the box, and now we go forward knowing there's still a chance he's going to be the USC coach.
Yeah, you're talking about, like, it sounded like it could have been a member of the PR staff. I'm not too familiar with the Jacksonville media contingent, but it could have been somebody that worked for their website, because, I mean, I've worked for team websites before, and we're usually sitting there at those press conferences. So, hey, man, maybe that was somebody who worked for the website. I don't know. But I do feel like, look, I disagree with you when you're saying why would they want him at this point. I mean, did Chip Kelly really tank all of his, collegiate, whatever you want to call it, when he was in the NFL, and he flamed out with the Eagles, and then he barely won a game.
He wasn't A-plus list, though. He wasn't A-plus list.
Right. And he's coaching down the street here at UCLA, and that's not, your biggest vaunted football program, not even in the Pac-12. So but I just feel like, he's won a national championship in recent memory. He put together that program at Ohio State that Ryan Day has now just turbocharged and made it even better. So I think there's plenty of reason to want him if you're USC and you think, all right, we have to become the premier college football program on the West Coast again.
I don't disagree with that. You go into it knowing you're probably not going to have him for 15 years, but you'll have him long enough to turn your team around. And, yeah, if they could get him, hey, we're having fun here. We're being facetious and being a little snarky. That's kind of what we do if you're not familiar with what we do or who we are. But if they could get him, I assume they would take him. The question is, can they get him? The fact that he said no chance today, there's no chance that influences those of us who have been around the block a few times as it relates to the things that coaches say and the things that coaches ultimately do.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.